We have to go to mandatory 40 hours a year of what we call in-service training to keep up. The state determines what are mandatory in those trainings. It could be a domestic violence update, it could be a criminal law update, a motor vehicle law update. So we have to go to these trainings every year, all officers, and when we go and do these trainings, they're just trying to say this is the new way we're doing it. This is how things have changed in the last 5 years, and doing it so long, it's sometimes it's you do it this way, then you change to this way. No, we think that way was better. So we do a lot of that. Plus, just the normal firearms training. Twice a year, we go to firearms training. We have a range simulator that the Citizens Police Academy will go see. That's part of our range training that we do. So it's a lot of upkeep. And I think I said it, you'll hear me say it again probably, but the word liability. Look where we are in this world, in this day, in this age. There's so much liability out there that you have to keep training and training and training to keep yourself ahead of the curve or try to be near it.
Do you sense the same? I mean, nationally, there's so much more maybe attitude towards police than there used to be even 10 years ago. Do you sense any of that on Nantucket in the summer or the year-round, or is that not reached here? I mean, this sort of suspicion that never did not used to be there to the same extent.
Yeah, I just think, I guess the attitude's a good word. I mean, people are here on vacation in the summer, and they're just thinking in a tunnel. I need to be here. I need to do this, and they don't care the fact that they parked on a corner and the street is blocked, and then we're the ones telling them you need to move your car now, or it's going to get ticketed or towed. The attitude comes with that, well, I'm just here for a minute, I'm just doing this for a minute, and it seems like all summer long that's what it is. And it's like almost you train the weekly people that are here for a week so they don't do it, and guess what, turnover day is here Saturday and they do it again. And the people that live here seem to, I hate to say it, they have the attitude because they have a house right next to them that gets rented every week in the summer, and guess what? We come there 2-3 times to quiet the people down, and again, the week's over, a new group comes in and they spend all this money on this house, and they're going to use that house, and they're going to be up till 10 or 11 at night. Whereas, the local people, they just get upset by the end of the summer. They're like, I just want to go back and go to bed at night and not have to listen to this. And, it's just, it's unfortunate, I mean, it's our community has grown in such a way that it's hard to, it's hard to fit. My saying is, you're trying to fit a 12 cans in a 6-pack. It just doesn't fit, and with so many people here, it just causes neighborly issues, I guess, or problems of that nature. More than there used to be. Yeah.
So what do you see as the role of the? Tell us about the Citizens Police Academy and what you see its role. Why did you start it?
So I think back in the 80s they may even have had Citizens Police Academy, but we went to the chief, myself, and actually it was Detective Chris Carnavale. We went and said, hey, we want to start this program. So we moved into the new police station, and we had the area that we were able to have a class like that. So we have a great room. We have the room we had the class in last night. And the reason we do it is we just want the community, anybody in the community that wants to come in, we want to show them what the police department really does. Like we don't want to have a curtain up, and we're not trying to be sneaky about what we do. This is what we do. This is why we do it. And we almost encourage, like the naysayers, we want people to come in and question us, because that's fun for us to talk back and forth and get a dialect going about, well, why do you do it this way? And then it reminds us why we do it that way, talking to it. So the Citizens Police Academy is great, and a lot of times we've been teaching them for 10 years now. People get really scared by the name. They think it's like an academy, and we're going to make them do sit-ups and push-ups and stuff. It's not. It's a class that we give on Thursday evenings in the fall. They run roughly 10 weeks, 6 to 9 at night, and we just bring people in. I think this class we have 14 in it, and we go between 10 and 15 people. I like to max it at 15. That's the most amount, so that we can really get a good talk going with everybody. And we teach you everything there is about the police department. I mean, night one was last night, and you were there, and the full-on tour. Like every door we went through and
It's
showed you.
amazing what is in that
Yeah,
building. I
mhm.
mean, who knew? Not only the extensive computer room, which really blew us away, with chilly computer
Yeah,
room,
yeah.
the extensive storage facilities, and then of course the jail, which
Yeah.
everybody's fascinated by,
And
the care with firearms was fascinating
Yep.
too. All those secure places to put firearms before you deal with the people you're interviewing. Fascinating. The whole thing.
Yeah,
Was.
and you know, I just believe there was a misconception. Everybody drives past that building all the time, and they're like, "Oh my God, this place is so huge. What are you doing with it all?" But after doing the tour, everybody says, "Wow, it's really not that big, and you're using every space.
Yeah,
we
there's
don't
not an unused
Yeah.
corner of it. It's
no,
amazing.
and all the areas are used to the most. Like we really need
well
those
designed,
areas
too. Very
Yeah.
well designed, very well thought out. And
They
it's-
did. I believe the chief went and looked. I could be mistaken, but I think it was Foxborough, Mass. Had one built a year or two before. They went up. I think they toured it, and it was the same company that designed it. And I think they did. They did a great job. And I mean, having worked at the old police department on South Water Street and then moving here, it was night and day. It was just unbelievable, and it was great. And being able to offer that class and now do that. We can do everything, and it's just great to come into that class and have a break room, and guys just feel better about coming to work. I mean, we didn't have a locker room at our old police station. Everybody, all these guys now, when they're done with work, they go down to their lockers. They can store their uniforms, store their firearms. They can take a shower. They have we have everything that they need there, and
And the workout, the gym, which was paid for by the police
unions,
union,
yeah.
rather
Yep.
than the town, despite all that fuss at the time, which is also nice.
Yeah.
A tiny gym, not a big gym,
Yeah.
but very usable.
It
and
is.
very
It is, and
available.
the guys that's being in
You get
the
steam
young
off that way,
20s.
yeah.
The guys love using it, and that's something they need. And even again, Nantucket, a gym membership in Nantucket is not cheap. And we were able to go out and buy all the equipment, put the equipment into the room that was provided to us, so that we have an affordable way to go down and work out
Right.
now.
And we say guys, and I appreciate that you say
Yes,
guys.
yes.
And you mean girls in the guys.
I do.
So
I
how
do.
Many,
We have.
How
I
many
think,
women did you
I
say
wanna
there
s-
were?
I
right
believe
now?
there. I believe we have 5 full
5
time.
or 6.
Yeah,
So
we
perhaps
have.
that's 20% of the.
Well, roughly, if we were fully staffed,
Staffed,
yeah.
yeah.
There's another one that just got hired. She's going to the academy in October. So yeah, we have a fair amount of women, and you talked about domestic violence. We do have domestic violence issues, and it's great to have that. One of the females works up at the school as a school resource officer with me, so we have a good relationship up there because we have one male, one female. Sometimes females don't want to talk to a male, and that's great that we can go in there and do that. And it's a role now in this day and age where more females are getting into policing.
all those areas.
When I started in the 90s, there was very, very few, and it's good to see it.
One of the things that I liked about the Citizens Police Academy is that the weekly agendas show you through every single area of what the different aspects of the police work is. But I was so impressed by that Milo program, because that's a
Yeah.
program that trains police officers to de-escalate situations. So rather than having a very aggressive confrontation, you're trained interactively with a computer-activated adversary and the person behind the computer can set that adversary up to respond to how the police officer being trained responds to them. So if the police officer being trained acts in a way that is aggressive, then the computer avatar acts more aggressively,
Yeah.
and the whole thing escalates. And if the police officer being trained realizes he's supposed to de-escalate and then de-escalates, the avatar responds appropriately. What a
Yeah.
fabulous idea that is.
Yeah, it's great. It's called Milo, and what it is it's an interactive. There's hundreds and hundreds of different scenarios, and it's run based on a computer. We have a computer that runs it. It's myself, and there's 3 others of us that have gone to the training to run this program, and you get a full police duty belt that's just interactive with the screen.
That's so
and we have to
exciting.
test the screen out so that the spray or the taser will actually hit exactly on the screen, because it's shooting a laser,
That's
a
amazing.
beam. And by running that machine, we put people through scenarios where if you do what we believe you should be doing in the scenario could end peacefully. If you're not doing it, so each scenario, where there's hundreds and hundreds of them, can each veer off 3 or 4 different ways. So in the Citizens Police Academy, we just recently got this up and running within the last couple of years. You will actually be the 3rd Citizens Police Academy class that we will allow to run through this interactive training. And the last 2 years, by far, everybody said this is the best. This was the most fun
Absolutely
we had.
fascinating.
But it's not just like running around with a screen and playing cops and robbers. We actually have a debrief after, because that is where you learn. So you'll go through the scenario. When the scenario's done, the scenario can only take a minute and a half or so. We stop after that, and then we do a debrief, and we talk. Right away, is there something you think you might have done different? Ask them, and they might say, I probably should have done this. Great, you identified it. Then we might say, okay, did you see this? Did you see that? And they're like, see what? So we'll play it back. We'll play it back slow-mo for everybody and say, did you see that person hiding behind there? You didn't see that, did you?
Wow.
Did you hear what they said when they entered the room? Because we all do it. Even police officers. We have this, it's called tunnel vision, where we're like just concentrating on one thing and we're not seeing anything outside of the box. So it really teaches the guys that you have to do more than one thing when you go in.
So I guess part of that training is useful because we live in a culture where there's so much aggression. There's the most, I guess, male aggression, even female aggression, and people's sense of a confrontation, especially in our fraught political situation these days. People have sort of ratcheted up the aggressiveness. I don't know whether you feel this these days as a police officer, or maybe do people become police officers because they want to channel aggression? How does all that work out?
I mean, I see where you're coming from, and it's like multifaceted. I will start with being a police officer in this day and age, and having done it for the years that I have. I personally have definitely mellowed myself out. When you go in and you're young, I don't care if it's police work or anything, you kind of think you know everything. Mm-hmm. And we need to remember here on Nantucket especially, look what we have. We have a bunch of 22, 23, 24-year-olds. And we make decisions in split seconds that will affect people's lives for years, months, God knows how long.
And then you're second guessed by everybody.
Exactly. And now especially with the social media, and now these young police officers see what has happened in this world in the last 10 so years, where, decisions have to be made. Right, wrong, or indifferent, you can't be wishy-washy. And it's a lot to put on a guy that has never been in that situation before. Hence the training we're trying to put him through with these with the interactive training we have. And
you try to show them that there are ways of dialing down the aggressiveness.
And that you brought it up and you said the word, it's called de-escalation, and we're trying to do that. But again, it's with experience. I became a police officer and I was scared out of my mind when they said, here's your car, go out. I'm like, now I have to know whether I can arrest the person. I have to know this. I have to know that.
And that was a more peaceable time.
Well, exactly. And that was in the 90s, maybe the mid-90s. And it was still scary for me at this point. These guys now, with all this extra liability and craze of what's going on, shootings. I'll be honest with you. When I started in Nantucket, I wasn't worrying about shootings in Nantucket. I'll tell you what, we're worried about it. We're worried about shootings in it.
Guys getting shot on the Cape.
Exactly.
Terrifying.
And there is, I'm not going to say any job, career you go to, there are bad apples. I will agree. I'm not saying every police officer is right in what they do. We have a saying as police officers that is, it's very, very simple, and you'll get it once I say it, but they say, I would rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. And you chuckle and you laugh, but it's the whole, I want to go home to my wife, I want to go home to my family. Let a jury, and let a jury decide whether I was right, wrong, or indifferent. And not that we are looking to go out and be wrong, but you'll go through the training, in this interactive training, where you'll see what we mean, and you'll get that lump in your throat. Because when we go to certain situations and certain calls, whether it's a domestic disturbance and the guy's mad, whether it's somebody you don't know and you never know. Look at school shootings, this and that. We never know what happens, and you got to put yourself in that situation when you're coming up to a call like that, and you might see an officer yelling and screaming and do this and do that. That's because they're just trying to get some grasp of control over it. Do we make mistakes? Obviously. We all make mistakes. We learn from our mistakes. And this is part of our training,
But
you
you
know?
could be going into a situation where someone has a gun. You don't know that they've
You
got a gun.
don't
I
know.
mean, how terrifying is that?
You don't know. And again, it's just you're trying to do that. And all over the country, things are happening. And again, this is why we have our criminal justice system. And I know people say, you know, well, the police are doing this, the police this. All I say is, where would we be without the police? What would our society look like? Do you think we already know people can't take control of their own actions? Our phone rings off the hook at the police department. If we were one day to just turn the switch off and say there are no more police, I think we can all understand and see what would happen. It would not be good. And you know, we do our best. That's all I can say. You know, we go out there. We're not out there. You know, we're out there for a reason. We get a call. A lot of times we go to places. It's because we got a call to go there. We're not driving around
looking for trouble.
Exactly. We're not looking for trouble. A neighbor called that this was happening. Now we have to go follow up and look at it. You know, and what I encourage people that want to question us to take my Citizens Police Academy. That's what I'm looking for. I really like when people come in, and we've had a couple people that have come in and they've questioned why we do stuff, and we have a great back and forth in front of the class. And sometimes I'm like, I've never thought of that. You know, I never thought of it that way. But part of our Citizens Police Academy as well, we bring you on a ride along with police officers. You get to sit on that side. You get to be in the car when a motor vehicle gets stopped. And you get to see why the officers do what they do when they're stopping a car. And you're seeing it for the first and probably only time from their eyes. And they're going to talk to you, and they're going to show you the computer that they're trying to do. Why did it take 5 minutes for him to come back to my car?
Right.
Well, this is why. You see like 6 things he's trying to do on the computer, and he's trying to enter this call. And it really is an eye-opening experience. We really encourage people to take it.
Right.
So
Well, I look forward to that part of it too. But the other thing I'd like to do before we say goodbye is to introduce this terrifying specimen. Canine,
yes.
Come here, Moby. Here.
Come here.
This is
so,
Moby.
Yep, this is Moby. Moby's come here, Moby. So Moby's the police dog. Works for the police department. He's a 4-year-old yellow lab. He is a drug sniffing dog. He
and you bring him up to the school.
He works
too,
up at the school with me. We do searches at the school. We do searches anywhere, but up at the school is where he comes with me every day.
Does he bark when he sniffs drugs?
No, he doesn't. He is what we would call a passive alert canine. So he sits and points with his nose when he finds it. So back in the day, they used to have German Shepherds that would bark and bite and scratch.
Very intimidating.
In this day and age, they don't want that, especially up in the school. So yeah, Moby, we do searches there. We'll go anywhere. So his training, when we first got him, about 4 months of everyday training, and that was all conducted off island. And the way he works is he's a food reward dog. So every day we have to train him, and when he finds it, he gets his food for the day. So that's what keeps him good. That's what keeps him sharp. And he's good. You know, he's still got a little puppy left in him because he's only 4 years old, but he is a really good
I have to
good
say,
dog.
do you take him to the beach at all?
Oh, yeah. He loves to
good.
swim. He loves the water.
So he's a Nantucket dog.
He's the happiest dog you've ever seen. He and the kids at school, I'll tell you what, the hardest part is just keeping them away from him sometimes. He loves being up there. He loves the interaction with them. He just wants to be around people. He wants to be close to people. And it's really really a great job. I mean, I consider myself one of the luckiest people. I've got a dream job. You know, I get to work with the kids. I have kids in the school myself. I get to have a dog with me as my partner every day. I mean, you know, it really is. And I'm sure tons of people see me around and see us at work. So you're more than happy to come say hi. Let everybody say hi and talk to Moby.
I look forward to hearing even more about all of this and seeing Moby again. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for coming in.
thank
I
you.
appreciate it,
Thanks
Keith.
for having
it's really
me.
great. Thanks.
Yep.